That night in downtown Manhattan still feels like a scar I can't erase. The air was sharp with winter, the sidewalk shining under the city lights as I left a late meeting. My steps slowed when I noticed the glowing entrance of the Grand Central Hotel, and then I saw them. My cousin Anna, walking right beside my old friend Eric. Their bodies leaned close, their hands brushing as if it was the most natural thing in the world. My chest tightened instantly. For a moment, I thought my eyes were deceiving me. But no, it was Anna, her familiar smile lighting up her face, and Eric glancing around nervously like a man who knew he was doing something wrong. I froze on the sidewalk, half hidden behind a lamppost. They didn't notice me. They were too caught up in each other, laughing softly, their voices mixing with the hum of taxis and distant horns. My stomach dropped when I saw Eric gently guide Anna toward the hotel doors. His hand rested at the small of her back. It was such an intimate gesture, one no cousin should ever witness. Anna had always been more like a sister than just a cousin. We grew up spending summers together, chasing fireflies in my parents' backyard, sharing secrets only kids thought mattered. She was family, pure and simple. Eric, on the other hand, was my friend from high school. He was bold, funny, always the life of the party. But when it came to women, his reputation wasn't spotless. I had ignored that flaw because he was my friend. Now the two most familiar faces in my life were walking into a hotel together like strangers hiding in the night. I clenched my fists. My mind tried to offer excuses. Maybe it's business. Maybe it's innocent. But the way Eric's hand lingered on Anna's arm, the way she tilted her head and laughed, it didn't look innocent at all. I took a step closer, my breath puffing in the cold. Through the glass doors, I saw them pause at the reception desk. Anna tucked a strand of hair behind her ear, while Eric leaned casually on the counter. The receptionist handed over a key card. My heart sank as I watched Eric slip it into his pocket with a grin. That small piece of plastic felt like a weapon, stabbing the last bit of doubt I had. I pulled back instantly, afraid they would spot me. My pulse hammered in my ears, each beat louder than the traffic around me. My phone buzzed in my pocket. It was Justin, another friend, asking if I wanted to grab a drink. My thumb hovered over the screen, but how could I answer? How could I pretend I hadn't just seen my world tilt upside down? I shoved the phone away and leaned against the cold brick wall of the building beside me. My breath came fast, uneven, as though I'd run a marathon. Not Anna, I whispered to myself. She wouldn't do this. She couldn't. But the image of her smiling at Eric, accepting that hotel room key, crushed every defense I built. Memories raced back, little things I had brushed aside. Just last week at a family dinner, Anna had barely touched her food, her eyes darting toward Eric every time he cracked a joke. I thought it was harmless. Now I wasn't so sure. And that shopping bag she carried a few days ago, inside was men's cologne. When I asked, she laughed nervously and said it was for a friend's birthday. At the time, I wanted to believe her. Tonight, I realized I had been blind. The more I thought, the more puzzle pieces fell into place. Late-night excuses, sudden mood swings, the way she avoided my eyes when Eric's name came up in conversation. I wanted to storm inside, confront them right there in the lobby. But I couldn't move. My legs felt like concrete, and fear whispered that if I pushed too fast, everything would collapse at once. Should I call her out later? Should I tell the family? Or should I stay silent and carry this weight? Each option felt like poison. Through the glass, I caught another glimpse. Anna leaned close as Eric whispered something, her cheeks flushed, her smile soft. They looked like lovers lost in their own secret world. The sight broke me more than I expected. Betrayal didn't just hurt, it hollowed me out. I turned away, my breath shaky. The bright lobby lights reflected on the icy pavement beneath my shoes, mocking me, reminding me I wasn't imagining things. I had seen it. I walked toward the parking lot, each step heavy. My phone buzzed again, this time a message from my aunt, Anna's mother. "Have you seen Anna tonight?" My fingers trembled over the screen. I couldn't bring myself to reply. If only she knew. If only any of them knew. But right now, I was the only one holding the truth, and it felt unbearable. I whispered under my breath, "This isn't over. I need answers." The vow felt heavy, but necessary. I slid into my car, gripping the steering wheel tightly, staring at the glowing hotel sign through the windshield. My life had just split in two, the world before tonight and the world after. And deep down, I knew this was just the beginning. The days after that night at the Grand Central Hotel dragged like chains around my ankles. I couldn't erase the image of Anna and Eric smiling under those golden lobby lights. At family gatherings, Anna pretended everything was normal. She laughed with my aunt, helped serve food, and asked about my work as if nothing had changed. But every glance toward her made me wonder what secret she was carrying. Eric acted no different either. He texted me about basketball games, sent memes like he always did, and invited me out for beers. His casual tone felt like a mask, and I hated how convincing it looked. One evening, I finally broke my silence. Sitting across from Justin at a small diner in Brooklyn, I lowered my voice. "I think something's going on between Anna and Eric." His fork froze midair, his eyes narrowing. "You sure?" Justin whispered. "That's a big accusation." I nodded slowly, feeling the weight of my words. "I saw them check into a hotel together. I can't explain it away anymore." Justin leaned back, shaking his head. "Man, you need proof. Real proof. Otherwise, it'll tear your family apart if you're wrong." His warning stung because I knew he was right. That night, I couldn't sleep. I kept replaying their nervous smiles, the receptionist handing over that room key. My gut screamed it wasn't innocent, but my brain begged for evidence. 2 days later, I got my first clue. Anna posted a photo on Instagram, just a simple coffee cup on a table. But the reflection in the cafe window gave it away. Eric's jacket, the same one he wore the night at the hotel. My chest tightened. "She thinks nobody notices," I muttered, staring at the screen. But I noticed. Every small detail cut deeper. Another week passed, and I overheard Anna on the phone at my aunt's house. She spoke softly, almost a whisper, but I caught a fragment. "Room 412 again." "Yes, Friday night." My stomach flipped instantly. When she walked back into the living room, I forced a smile. "Who was that?" I asked casually. She blinked, startled, then shrugged. "Just a friend from school." Her lie rolled off her tongue too smoothly. My suspicions grew heavier with every day. I started watching Eric more closely, too. Once after a game night, his phone lit up with a text. I glimpsed the screen. "Can't wait. Same place." The sender's name was hidden, but my instincts didn't need confirmation. The evidence was piling up, but I still hesitated. Maybe I was paranoid. Maybe my anger was twisting coincidences into proof. Yet my gut wouldn't let me breathe easy. One Friday evening, I decided to test them. I told Eric I couldn't hang out because I had a late shift. Instead, I drove to Manhattan, parking across from the Grand Central Hotel. My eyes scanned the entrance like a hawk. And there they were again, Anna in a long coat, Eric in his familiar jacket. They didn't walk side by side this time, but the timing was too perfect to ignore. Minutes apart, both slipped through the glass doors. I gripped my steering wheel so tightly my knuckles turned white. Part of me wanted to burst inside, to drag them out into the freezing night, but I held back, choosing patience over rage. The following morning, I finally decided to act smarter. If I was going to expose them, I needed more than my word. I needed undeniable evidence. At a family brunch, I noticed Anna's purse slightly open on the couch. A hotel receipt peeked out. My heart pounded as I discreetly caught a glimpse. The Grand Central Hotel, room 412, 2 nights ago. When she came back into the room, I forced myself to act normal, sipping coffee as though my world hadn't just tilted again. Later that day, I confronted Eric indirectly. "Hey, you've been spending a lot of time in the city, huh?" I said lightly. His jaw tightened for just a second before he grinned. "Work stuff, man. You know how it is." That crack in his expression confirmed more than his words. He was lying, and he knew I was close to figuring it out. But the final blow came unexpectedly. One night, while helping my aunt fix her laptop, I found Anna's Uber account logged in. Curiosity pushed me to check her ride history. My throat dried when I saw it. Multiple trips, always ending at the Grand Central Hotel. The dates matched perfectly with Eric's late-night busy excuses. I closed the laptop slowly, my pulse pounding in my ears. I finally had proof, cold, undeniable proof. The weight of betrayal pressed heavier on my chest. They hadn't just betrayed me, they had betrayed the family, the trust we all shared, and I was the only one who knew the full truth. That night, I sat alone in my car, staring at the hotel receipt I had slipped into my pocket. My reflection in the windshield looked like a stranger, angry, broken, but determined. This ends soon, I whispered to myself. No more excuses, no more hiding. I didn't know exactly how, but I knew the confrontation was coming. And when it did, nothing in our lives would ever be the same again. The proof was in my hands now. Hotel receipts, Uber rides, and the memory of Anna's nervous laughter with Eric. My heart had carried the burden too long. It was time to end this. I chose Saturday evening, when I knew Eric would be at his apartment. My hands trembled as I drove through Brooklyn, rehearsing words I wasn't even sure I could say aloud. When he opened the door, Eric's smile faltered instantly. "Brian, hey, what's up?" His casual tone was thin, cracking under the weight of the silence between us. I stepped inside without asking. My voice was low, calm, but heavy. "Cut the act, Eric. I know about you and Anna. The hotel, the lies, everything." His face drained of color. For once, the man who always had jokes and excuses had no words. He swallowed hard, rubbing the back of his neck. "Brian, listen. It's not what you think," he muttered. But even he didn't believe his own words. His eyes darted everywhere except toward mine. I pulled the crumpled hotel receipt from my pocket and dropped it on his table. "Room 412, the Grand Central Hotel, same place, same nights. Don't insult me with lies." Eric's shoulders slumped, his voice cracked, finally breaking. "It just happened. I didn't mean for it to go this far." His confession burned hotter than his denial. Rage surged through me, but I held it down. "She's my cousin, Eric. My family. You think this is just some mistake? You knew what you were doing every time." His eyes glistened, shame written all over his face. But I didn't care. Whatever excuses he had, they meant nothing now. I paced across the room, my voice rising. "All those times you laughed with me, drank with me, called me brother. You were lying. You were sneaking behind my back." Eric's lip quivered. "I cared about you, Brian. I still do. I just—" His words dissolved into silence because nothing he said could undo the damage. I pointed to the door. "We're done. Don't call me. Don't text me. From this day forward, you're nothing to me." His shoulders sagged as I walked out. The slam of the door echoed like a final nail in the coffin of our friendship. The next day, I decided it was Anna's turn to face me. I found her at my aunt's house, sitting on the porch with a book in her hands, pretending her world was perfect. When she saw me, her smile wavered. "Brian, hey, you look upset. What's wrong?" Her voice was soft, almost rehearsed, like she had been preparing for this moment. I sat down across from her, my voice steady but sharp. "Stop pretending, Anna. I know everything. The hotel, the rides, Eric." The book slipped from her hands. Her lips trembled as she whispered, You saw us." Tears welled in her eyes, but I couldn't feel sympathy anymore. "Yes," I said coldly, "and I have proof. Do you even realize what you've done? You've torn apart not just me, but our family's trust." Her tears spilled freely as she buried her face in her palms. "I never meant to hurt you, Brian. I was lost. I didn't think it through." I clenched my jaw. "You didn't think it through. Every Uber ride, every hotel bill, every late-night excuse. Those weren't accidents. Those were choices, Anna." She sobbed harder, whispering, "It wasn't supposed to last. I thought I could end it before anyone knew." Her excuses felt hollow, floating in the cold air like smoke. "End it?" I snapped. "You had countless chances to stop. Instead, you doubled down week after week. Don't you dare act like this was some accident." Her face twisted with shame. "I don't know why I did it. Eric made me feel alive in a way I hadn't in years. But I never wanted to lose you. I shook my head, fury burning in my chest. You already lost me, Anna. You lost me the first night you walked into that hotel with him. She reached for my arm, desperate. Please, don't tell the family. I'll fix it. I promise I'll stop seeing him. Her words sounded like a plea, not a promise. I pulled back from her touch, shaking my head. Trust isn't something you can glue back together with empty promises. You broke it the moment you stepped into that hotel. For a long moment, silence hung between us, broken only by her quiet sobs. The cousin I once admired felt like a stranger now. I got up slowly, my chair scraping the porch. I don't know if I'll ever be able to forgive you. Maybe one day, but not now. Not when the wounds are this fresh. Her tears blurred her words. I'm sorry, Brian. Please believe me. I'm sorry. But apologies meant nothing in the shadow of betrayal. When I finally walked away from that porch, my chest felt lighter and heavier at the same time. I had said what I needed to say, but the wound remained.